We start with breaking news this morning. Portland fire crews responding to a fire at Elephant Delicatessen in Northwest Portland. Thank you for joining us here. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchuk. We will get to your weather and traffic in a moment, but first, we're going to head right out to that fire at the deli's flagship location on Northwest 22nd. That's where we find Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz. Thomas, how is this progressing throughout the morning?
Yeah, well, guys, I mean, look, the smoke, you can still smell it in the air, but the fire right now looks to be out. Right now, there's a couple people milling around just looking at some of the damage, and the damage is immense here right off of Burnside on Northwest 22nd. This is the flagship Elephant's Delicatessen, one of the staples of Portland. They've been in this location since 2004 after spending decades before that just a block away on Northwest 23rd. And this is a real big part of the Northwest community here, especially right off of Burnside. And you can see just right now, the deli is just a lot of debris. It's unclear exactly what the inside looks like. We have seen a little bit inside, and it looks like some stuff is okay, but there are other areas and other elements of the restaurant that are just completely ruined. We spoke to the CEO earlier this morning, and he tells us it's too early to know if this is a complete rebuild, but they probably will rebuild. Right now, though, his thoughts are with his workers and his customers. Take a listen.
I'm just thinking about our employees, our customers, all the generations of memories created in a place like this. It's, it makes me both sad, but also makes me want to do everything I can to preserve it and rebuild it if we can.
It was emotional for him when we spoke to him a few hours ago. It was emotional to the manager as well, who's been here for 20 years overseeing this location. This is an area and a restaurant that many hold dear to their hearts, not just within the company, but also customers and people in nearby areas who visit this location frequently. Matthew, China.
Our Thomas Schultz reporting live. Thank you, Thomas. Your time now is 7:02, taking a live look outside, courtesy of our Pioneer Courthouse Square sky cam right there. Rod, the bricks, not wet right now, but will be for a week.
Yeah, there's going to be the puddles on the bricks at this time tomorrow morning from heavy, steady rain rates going on. So this is the last day to get out and get some things done. I took advantage of the somewhat dry weather yesterday, got my yard mowed. The grass is really going to take off in the coming days with all the rain coming down. Right now, the only batch of rain is starting to move through Portland. Can be a shower or so up around Battleground. Radar showing could be some light snow in the air up in the West Hills. Ground temperatures, though, are generally above freezing and not a concern. The snow level is below 1,000 feet, though, overall. So we're keeping an eye on that. We do have snow on the highways up in the Coast Range. But here are the temps down low. We thought maybe we could have some icy spots if we had temperatures getting down to freezing. That has not happened. 41 in downtown Portland, 35 Salem, 39 down in Albany. To the bus stop we go. We'll go mid-30s to about 40 out the door. A few scattered showers through the noon hour, but really not bad, 45 degrees. Now this afternoon, I think it does get pretty wet outside. There's going to be an increase of shower activity like we did not see yesterday. So expect some raindrops and 47 when the kids get out of school. Here's Chris.
Rod, you mentioned low snow levels today. Of course, we do have snow in the coastal passes. And with that in mind, the Vernonia School District running on a 2-hour delay today because of the weather. Also, of course, as you get up high, we can take up to Government Camp. Highway 26 right now. Snow covered right now. Chains and traction tires required up near Government Camp on Highway 26. And one more wintry weather note in eastern Oregon. Interstate 84 right now is closed westbound to all traffic. We're hearing this is what ODOT is telling us between Baker City and LeGrand because of reduced visibility. There you can see Interstate 84 out west of the Baker City area looks pretty icy. All right, down low for the rest of us, traffic getting a little bit busier here into the Rose Quarter. There's your southbound I-5 commute. That said, the drive times are actually still in relatively good shape for now. You're tripping from Hillsborough, for instance, just 17 minutes. Matthew?
Chris, thank you very much. Developing this morning, a financial crisis for Portland State University. The school's president says several departments could either be reduced or eliminated altogether.
This comes as the school faces a $35 million budget shortfall over the next 2 years. According to university officials, the massive budget deficit is due in part to lower enrollment, rising costs, and limited state funding. Of the 19 departments impacted, University Studies, Conflict Resolution, and Portland Center, which is a study abroad program, could all be cut. Programs that could be reduced include things like economics, history, and philosophy. And we heard from Bill Knight, the president of the University Professors Union and an English professor at PSU.
We've been in the middle of the Bridge to the Future plan, and the challenge with that plan is it doesn't seem to offer us the kind of bridge we'd like. So we're looking now at cuts, and the question looming over all of this is whether you can cut your way to prosperity. Our position has been all along that that's not a great idea.
And university officials say a final plan is expected in June.
Now to Estacada, where the city council addressed the arrest of one of their own. Matthew Blevins is accused of assaulting a child in his custody over several years. He's been on the city council for 1 year. Last night, one of his fellow council members called for his resignation.
I am also of the mind to ask for Councillor Matthew Blevins' resignation. Might not be the most popular, but that's where my heart lies, and that's what, I think would be best for this council.
Blevins was indicted on assault, strangulation, and harassment, as well as criminal mistreatment charges. He's set to go to trial at the end of April. Unions representing faculty, academic professionals, and teachers at Portland Community College say they're planning a strike for tomorrow morning. The union says this will be the first strike in PCC's history and the first strike at a community college in Oregon. They say they're striking over what they called a, quote, insulting final offer of a 0.35% cost of living adjustment for 26 and 27. In a statement, PCC's director of public relations said in part, quote, the college remains focused on reaching agreements that are fair, sustainable, and aligned with long-term institutional stability. They added that they plan to have another mediation session with the union today. Meanwhile, PCC says students will receive grades for the current term within 5 days of the faculty returning to work. And if the strike impacts spring term, which begins on March 30th, students will have the option to request a refund at the beginning of the term.
The Department of Justice has reached a settlement with Ticketmaster and its parent company Live Nation, avoiding a breakup. Now Ticketmaster has to allow competitors like SeatGeek and StubHub to sell tickets at certain venues and pay $280 million in damages. Live Nation will also sell up to 13 amphitheaters. Portland attorney Robert Parker Jr. filed his own lawsuit against Live Nation about a year before the feds filed theirs. He represented We Are Live Entertainment, which says Live Nation cost their artists millions of dollars. Parker says the settlement handed the ticket giant a win.
Versus the $33 billion that they made last year, drop in the bucket. What should have probably happened in terms of divestiture was clearly not significant enough.
Several states agree, including Oregon and Washington, which announced that they will push ahead with the lawsuit.
It is 7:08. Time to get back over to Rod for a look at the forecastings. Looking relatively dry for right now, Rod.
Yes, I mean, overall, absolutely. We have one wave of shower activity, and we're getting on the back side of this, currently pushing through Portland. A reminder, snow levels are low, so you might find some snow showers depending on where you are this morning, or at least flurries in the air. Not seeing any issues, and we're seeing ground temperatures, even up in the West Hills, generally hold above freezing. Radar is showing it's snow falling with the shower activity in the West Hills right now. Light rain in downtown Portland. We've got breaks back to the west, including Seaside. Really pretty opening of blue skies right now from our live camera. And that clearing has allowed temps to drop 32. But here it's cloudy with showers in the area from the Vancouver, the Springs at the waterfront. Looking at the Interstate Bridge, 38 is the temperature. It's 32 up in Kelso, so that's dry with partly cloudy skies as well. Remember this morning we were looking for maybe some icy spots with lowering temperatures and wet roads. Haven't really seen that develop, which is good news. 40 in Portland, 37 out in the Dalles. It's all freezing in Bend and all freezing out east as well. Pendleton not that cold at 32. Here are the afternoon numbers. So I think showers few in number overall this morning, but increasing. And I think this afternoon gets pretty wet overall. Temperatures will be in the 40s, coast and valley. Another dry day in Central Oregon and much of the east. Showery weather, and they've had decent snow, in fact, out over the Blues. This shows LeGrand only 41 degrees this afternoon. 7-day forecast for you. So Pretty wet afternoon, especially compared to yesterday. The wave of steady rain we've been talking about starts after midnight tonight. And then it could be raining literally all day Wednesday. We could get 2 inches alone for the 24-hour period on Thursday. And we still have rain steady more than not on Friday and a Friday night, maybe over 3 inches throughout this entire period, maybe 4. And then we've got a mainly dry weekend with an early shower chance on Saturday and the chance that maybe we get some light moisture on Sunday, but it could be dry. All right, here's Chris.
Well, for the thousands running the Shamrock on Sunday, let's hope it is dry. All right, let's get you out the door, and drive times are starting to pick up a little bit. This is a live look, by the way, from photojournalist Eric Patterson. He's right now heading southbound on I-5, right past the Interstate 84 interchange. Got the windshield wipers going there as well. So far, no problems on that side of town. Of course, you can see the ongoing construction there. Door number 2, let's switch gears. That takes us over to the Sylvan Hill. It's a little damp on that side of town as well. And last but not least, I believe door number 3 is going to take us over to the Banfield. Yeah, there you go. Westbound I-84 running a little busy coming out of the Gateway District, but so far no major freeway trouble out there just yet. So from that perspective, China, the roads locally are in good shape.
Thank you, Chris. It was one of college football's longest running rivalries, formerly known as the Civil War. Still to come on Sunrise, why one OSU alum seeks to revive that spirit. But before that, we want to let you know about the KGW Great Food Drive. It's going on right now. We need your help to collect donations, enough to provide more than 1 million meals to local people and families in need. One way you can help right now is by giving online at kgw.com/food. A $25 donation provides a week's worth of meals for a family. And all week long, local Toyota dealers will match all donations up to the first $10,000. We want to thank local Toyota dealers, Pacific Office Automation, Rivermark Community Credit Union, and Safeway for supporting this year's food drive.
I'm Matthew Herchick, new morning anchor at KGW. I'm a huge sports fan, and I know I might be from the Buckeye State, but I'm excited to explore what the Rose City has to offer. I want to make sure you're prepared for the day, whether it's bringing you breaking news or sharing those inspirational stories that make you smile. We've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to Portland's #1 streaming newscast, Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
The start of Portland WNBA inaugural season could be in jeopardy as contract negotiations continue between the league and the players' union.
In order for the league to start on time in early May, the two sides have to reach a deal today. The union wants players to receive a share of the league's gross revenue, while the WNBA has offered a percentage of net revenue. The dispute comes as the league has seen a major spike in viewership. And if the season is delayed, it could have repercussions, of course, as Portland Fire are trying to rebuild after being shut down in the early 2000s. If a deal is reached, the Portland Fire will host Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky in its home opener on May 9th. Now to college football, where for more than 130 years, Thanksgiving weekend meant families were divided over the rivalry game between the Ducks and Beavers.
And though that rivalry isn't as heated as it once was, one OSU alum is hoping to preserve its spirit. Joey Neary explains.
It was one of the longest-running rivalry games in college football, the Civil War, and like a relationship that falls apart, eventually so do the memories of what made it so great.
The game kind of started to lose its luster when they moved it to September because, for me and my family and friends, it was always like part of our Thanksgiving weekend tradition.
Now Ryan Watland is making sure people don't forget about the long storied tradition that only separates the schools by about 45 minutes.
We have this in teas as well. We have this in U size.
Just a couple of weeks ago, Watland and his business partner, Brian Capel, launched a website called Honor the Rivalry.
We wanted to start it because we wanted, we were talking to friends and family just as we keep getting the news on what's happening with this and nobody really knows. And we were just like, is there a way that we can kind of keep the spirit of the rivalry alive?
Watland, who's a former apparel and design veteran with Nike, decided not to take sides but come up with something neutral. So the main part of his products are designed around a platypus, part beaver and part duck.
That was kind of the thought behind it was, let's create something fun that kind of can appeal to all ages and kind of all demos within the state.
Over the last couple of weeks, he's been selling these shirts, sweatshirts, and hats.
We're kind of already seeing the reach of like where people end up. Like, we're getting orders from the East Coast and, places like that. So you kind of see that these people like love this rivalry even though they may not live in the state anymore.
He's not worried about what sells and what doesn't.
So this is about, once again, preserving the rivalry in a very kind of fun, authentic, and only Oregon way.
He just wants to make sure the rivalry isn't something that's forgotten.
That was Joey Neary reporting. Right now, the Ducks and Beavers aren't scheduled to play each other until 2028. So the famous rivalry has a couple years to get back on track.
Well, got plenty of time to stock up on gear before then, so.
And you shared something I wasn't aware of. The biggest rivalry game in the entire world actually is
UNLV versus UNR.
Which is University of Nevada, Reno, if you don't know.
And University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a big one.
They actually do have football teams, folks.
Oh, my goodness. We're enemies.
Well, you gotta love and support your alma mater, right? So good for you, China. Go Rebs.
Go Rebs.
All right, here we go. Timberline Lodge, how about 7 inches of new snow? How about it? 18 degrees is the current temperature. Snow levels. This is the last day for snow to impact the Coast Range, where we do have snow over at least Highway 26 and probably Highway 6 as well. Snow level later today is up to 1,500 feet. It's below 1,000 today. But starting tomorrow, we're up to 3,000 feet. So from tomorrow morning on, it's just rain over the Coast Range. And we could get into what makes a government camp before Wednesday comes to an end. But I really feel like most of tomorrow, it's just heavy snow, including government camp. And then after that, the models seem to like to settle on a 5,000-foot snow level Thursday and Friday, which would be rain at government camp, but heavy wet snow up above 5,000 feet at Timberline. So I think Timberline could get 3 feet of snow from tonight basically through Friday night. That's what this shows basically. Shows less amounts down to the south, but it shows a whopping 76 inches up around Rainier. Again, the meat of the precip bullseyes continue to be up into Washington this time around. So we've got showers today. What we're really tracking is this. It's a warm front that pushes steady moisture our way after midnight tonight. Then the trailing cold front lays down over the area on Thursday and Friday, which allows a boundary for moisture just to keep overriding. And we keep getting steady rain on Thursday and Friday before all that finally pushes out of here going into Saturday morning. So today, this is 10 o'clock this morning, some light showers around, nothing big. This does show, and other models like it too, increasing rain this afternoon. So this afternoon could have some pretty wet periods in it. And then it's over after midnight into tomorrow morning. That's when we get into the steady rain. So this is tomorrow morning. That's heavy snow in the Coast Range. This is all rain out through the Columbia River Gorge, not a player in this particular setup. And then here is do you see all the yellows on Thursday? This is Thursday noon. So Wednesday overnight into Thursday morning, really heavy rain coming in with that warm front push. And then we could be looking at steady rain really most of the day, Thursday night, Friday into Friday night as well. You put it all together and you come up with about 4 inches of total rain in Kelso and Portland, a little bit less to the south. Yesterday's model showed 7 inches in Tillamook, and today's model shows 7 inches in Tillamook. So this is going to get really wet. These numbers could be overdone, but I still think Portland has a good chance to get 2 to 3 inches of rain. So it will be one of the wetter stretches we've had this entire winter. We're watching wind mainly tomorrow evening and overnight, although the coast amounts here just show winds gusting from the south to about 40 or 45. But just note we're watching some noticeable winds setting up late tomorrow into tomorrow night with that warm front coming in. 47 today, the showery weather more numerous this afternoon, the really wet weather through Friday, and that is your, we'll call it a wet forecast. Here's Chris.
I mean, yeah, get ready, I guess. So this morning, just the little appetizer, if that even. Right now, we've got a couple of slow spots out there, but nothing terribly off kilter for this hour of a Tuesday morning commute. Quick look at the drive times in from the west side. 17 minutes gets you in from Hillsborough. That's not so bad. I-205 out of Clark County looks just fine. I-5 right now is a 15-minute ride from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. A reminder, in the Coast Range, Vernonia, the school district, I should say, on a 2-hour delay because of weather. There has been snow in the higher terrain of the Coast Range. And later tonight and all week, the St. John's Bridge, it closed overnight last night. It'll be closed each night this week through Friday as ODOT does annual, or I should say biennial, bridge inspection and maintenance. That closure is a full closure from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. The detour, of course, several miles to take you down over the Fremont Bridge. Again, that's overnight.
The nation is mourning another American service member confirmed killed in action as Iran named its new supreme leader. I'm Alice Barr in Washington. I'll have the latest details on the war coming up.
Hi, I'm Christine Padawanich. I'm a journalist at KGW, and I love exploring Portland's amazing food scene. New spot? I'm there. So I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves you to act, to vote, to volunteer, to speak up, or to lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the good stuff that stays with you wherever you are. And at KGW, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Portland.
A 7th fallen U.S. service member was honored with a dignified transfer ceremony back on U.S. soil.
This comes as Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth made a bold promise in a briefing this morning about Operation Epic Fury.
Today will be yet again our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers, the most strikes. Intelligence more refined and better than ever.
President Trump also offered mixed signals about how much longer the war with Iran will last. NBC's Alice Barr has those latest details from Washington, D.C.
The 7th American service member killed in action in the war with Iran is now home. Vice President J.D. Vance overnight saluting Army Sergeant Benjamin Pennington, who died Sunday from wounds suffered in an Iranian strike on an air base in Saudi Arabia on March 1st. 9 days later, President Trump saying the war may be winding down.
It's going to be ended soon.
Even as he warned of larger strikes if Iran further restricts the critical oil route, the Strait of Hormuz.
We'll take them out so quickly, they'll never be able to recover, ever.
The war has choked off traffic through the strait. That, paired with strikes on oil sites across the region, sending gas prices soaring here at home.
To fill it up, it brought an extra $15, $20 on the tank.
President Trump telling NBC News by phone that people have talked about the U.S. seizing Iranian oil, but saying he didn't want to discuss it now. He did weigh in on Iran choosing a new supreme leader, the hardline son of the Ayatollah killed in the initial U.S.-Israeli strikes.
I was disappointed because we think it's going to lead to just more of the same problem for the country.
And amid new video of what weapons experts say is a U.S. Tomahawk missile that likely struck an area near an Iranian elementary school at the start of the war, killing 170 people. President Trump again asserting without evidence that Iran could have fired the missile.
The Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, is sold and used by other countries.
Experts say in this conflict, only the U.S. has that munition. The president adding it's under investigation. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Meantime, 5 members of Iran's women's national soccer team have been granted asylum in Australia. They requested protection while visiting the country for a tournament. The decision came after several days of appeals from Iranian groups in Australia and from President Trump urging the government to offer assistance. Iran's team was eliminated from the tournament over the weekend and had been facing a return to a country now in the midst of war.
Coming up in our next half hour, we are following a fire at Elephant's Deli in Northwest Portland. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz has been live at the scene all morning long and will join us in just about 3 minutes with an update. Plus, from hours-long waits at airports to extremely high gas prices, spring break chaos is in full effect. We have a look at how the long delays you could be facing at the airport will affect your travel.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
I'm Trina Green, a morning anchor at KGW and new dog mom to this sweet guy. Meet Barry. I love getting your mornings off to a great start, whether it's sharing stories of resilience and triumph in our community,
or following breaking news from Beaverton to Gresham and everywhere in between.
We've got you covered, because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to KGW Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
We are coming up on 7:29 on your Tuesday morning commute. Traffic getting a little bit busier out there, but so far the good news, no major unexpected delays. We'll look at the drive times right now. Your trip out of Clark County, 15 minutes to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Drive times over on the east side starting to pick up as well. Interstate 84, about a 22-minute ride from Troutdale. We have had snow in the Coast Range, and heads up in the Vernonia School District, Columbia County. You folks on a 2-hour delay because of that this morning. Rod?
All right, Chris, thanks for that. We do have some light moisture working across, and as Chris just pointed out, snow levels are low. radar shows the snow is white. Here's 1,500 feet up in the Cascades. This is the Welch's area, Mount Hood, Oregon Resort Golf Course. So there's evidence of the snow at that elevation. And we've seen snow, I think, actually below 1,000 feet in some locations. Light showers out there currently. Portland's at 40. Not a lot of rain this morning, but shower activity will pick up and become numerous this afternoon. And then hours of steady rain on track to be here tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday.
We start with breaking news this morning. Portland fire crews responding to a fire at Elephant's Delicatessen in Northwest Portland. Thank you for joining us. We will get to your weather and traffic in just a moment.
Yeah, but first, that fire is at the deli's flagship location on Northwest 22nd. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is on the scene. Thomas, what are you seeing now?
Well, guys, I mean, there's just debris left from this fire. Fire officials just left the scene about 10-15 minutes ago, but right behind us, you can see that it's just a lot of rubble on the ground. The walls are damaged pretty heavily as well as part of this fire, which started at 1 o'clock this morning, leading to a huge response from Portland Fire. The smoke was so bad that our producers tell me they could actually smell it inside our building in Southwest Portland. Firefighters were here for hours watching the smoldering after extinguishing this fire. It's unclear exactly what led up to it, though the CEO of Elephant's Delicatessen tells us that it started outside the building before making its way inside. Clearly, obviously damaging and ruining much of the store and much of the merchandise and food as well. Thankfully, there were no injuries, although it left an emotional toll on many people. Here's some video from earlier this morning. Once again, the CEO, when we spoke to him, was pretty shaken up from all of this. We also spoke to a man who lives near Elephant's Delicatessen here in Northwest Portland. Here's what he had to say about the restaurant.
I was pretty shocked. I mean, yeah, I'd never seen that before. And, you know, this Elephant's is like a classic. So to see it in this state, I was pretty shocked. I don't know what the state is of all the food in there, but that was one of the first things I thought of.
This is the flagship location for Elephant's Delicatessen. They have about a half dozen stores all around the Portland metro area. This one's been here for more than 20 years after moving from their original location on Northwest 23rd. Now they're tasked with rebuilding, which is something the CEO says they will do, as they're just kind of figuring out what needs to be repaired and if this will be a complete rebuild. All of that still questions they're trying to answer out here this morning. Matthew, China.
Yeah, Thomas, we go there all the time. It's right down the street from the station. Sad to see that. Thank you. All right, your time now is 7:32. Taking a live look from our Timberline Lodge sky cam. We got some snow out there. There's some clouds that looks like it's holding onto snow. Like here's snow and here's the clouds and it's like this. Is that right? And then the snow goes like that.
Yeah, that's
right?
strangely exactly right. Yes,
I'm a visual person. I know some viewers are too.
Very scientific. That's probably how they described it to you when you were in school learning it, right, Rod?
Yes. 7 inches new, by the way, up at Timberline over the past 24. Snow levels are actually below 1,000 feet this morning. We haven't had any issues in the valley. We thought we might have some icy spots from freezing temps. That really hasn't happened. This push of moisture right now we're getting on the backside of it. It's been mainly rain until you get up in elevation. Here's Salem, 36 degrees now, reporting rain. Clouds over the city where we've had some passing rain. 40 is the number there. We'll be 45 at noon. Not a lot of moisture this morning. I think we'll open up some nice dry time for you. But shower activity is expected to pick up and become quite numerous this afternoon. 47 degrees at 5 o'clock. Now, all this rain we've been talking about, the steady, heavier rain, that arrives after midnight tonight. By this time tomorrow morning, it will be raining all over the place. All right, here's Chris.
Meanwhile, it's snowing in some places, namely the Coast Range. This is Highway 26, so just watch yourself. Highway 6, Highway 26 get up into some snowy conditions. And the Vernonia School District, by the way, in Columbia County, citing the weather for 2-hour delays today. So Vernonia kids, you've got a 2-hour late start here. We also have, of course, chains and traction tires required up in the government camp area. Highway 26 is snow covered this morning up over Mount Hood. And on the wintry beat, Let's look at Interstate 84 east of Pendleton. It's a winter weather wonderland out there right now, and westbound 94 basically is closed from Baker City to Pendleton because of what ODOT is saying are limited visibility conditions over some parts of that drive. There you can see it looks pretty icy. Locally, the roads are getting busier, but I don't have any major traffic trouble out there just yet. There's I-5 through the Rose Quarter, a southbound drive right now in from Clark County, averaging about 15 minutes, Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Matt?
Chris, thank you. Portland police are asking for help from anyone who may have seen a shooting Monday morning on East Burnside. We first brought this to you as breaking news yesterday on Sunrise. It happened just before 2 a.m. near 148th. Police found a red truck in the middle of an intersection covered in bullet holes. Paramedics took the man inside to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. So far, police have not released any information about the shooter or what may have led up to the shooting.
And we are learning more information about a deadly wrong-way crash on I-5 that we brought to you as breaking news on Sunrise yesterday. State police say a 40-year-old woman from Washington was going the wrong way on northbound I-5 near the Battleground exit. Troopers say that's when she hit a 30-year-old Portland man head-on. Both died at the scene. The crash shut down all northbound lanes of I-5 for several hours.
A Parkdale man is in jail after sheriff's deputies say he made and set off explosives. The Hood River County Sheriff's Office arrested 35-year-old Weston Harvey Thursday after investigating reports from neighbors who heard explosions in the Miller Road area. They say Harvey has been on supervised release for the past year for previous charges, also related to building homemade explosives.
In Salem, a teenager is facing multiple charges after police say he used a gun to rob a 15-year-old. They say it happened Sunday morning at the Parkway Village Apartments. The victim says a 17-year-old suspect acted like he had a gun and pressed something hard into the victim's stomach while demanding his property. Later in the day, officers say that they found a loaded rifle while arresting the suspect after seeing him return to the same apartment complex. He's now facing robbery and weapons charges, among others.
An update to a major ruling that will impact how federal officers respond to protesters at Portland's ICE building.
A judge has essentially barred them from using chemical munitions such as tear gas, pepper balls, or flashbangs unless there's an imminent threat to officers or others. Now, this all stems from a lawsuit filed by protesters, including a man known as the Portland Chicken, who argued federal agents repeatedly used excessive force, violating protesters' protected speech.
What I've been able to witness in my extensive time down there has been a pretty consistent tactic of using violence and force irrespective of the conduct of the crowd.
The decision creates a preliminary injunction that would be in place until a judge lifts it in court filings. Government lawyers say that tear gas and pepper balls are key tools used to prevent escalation and protect federal property. The government is expected to appeal. New legislation passes session in Salem. It's helping ODOT avoid hundreds of layoffs and service cuts. That means ODOT crews will stay on the job and DMV offices will remain open. The state will redirect $218 million from existing programs through the next 18 months. Legislation also voted to lower ODOT's authorized spending by about $80 million, but ODOT leaders say this one-time funding is only a short-term fix.
We've really had some challenges with how we are funded, and we're looking for long-term solutions so that we can continue to provide services to Oregonians.
Lawmakers will talk about long-term transportation funding again next year. This year, Democrats passed a bill to move a vote on new transportation taxes from November to May. After the governor signed it, Republicans filed lawsuits in both state and federal courts. A state court hearing is scheduled for later today.
Taking a live look out at the coast, courtesy of our Seaside Skycam. It's 7:38 this morning, and looking pretty there, Rod.
Yeah, it's been one of the bright spots. It's been freezing there this morning, 32 degrees. The shower activity right now is just about ready to push completely through the Portland area. So mainly dry along, well, it is dry along the coast according to radar. Here's a closer look at the rain that's now moved through downtown Portland. And a reminder that we do have snow levels down around 1,000 and even lower. So there's Sandy picking up some light snow this morning. There's Damascus, the Happy Valley, you get up into 1,000 feet in parts of these areas too. And radar's showing some snow. It's light rain in Gresham. And again, dry weather right now coming into Portland. Not seeing any issues degrees this morning in the valley. Temperatures have generally been holding above freezing, even up in elevation. Here's the Chinook Woods Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. Cloudy skies here. We saw the clearing up along the north coast, but not Lincoln City. And here are the clouds with showery weather, obviously looking out over the vineyard from the Shalem Tasting Room in Sherwood. 37 degrees, the temperature there. Other numbers, downtown Portland's at 41. Forest Grove, where it's been dry for a while now, is dipped down to 33. Out in Wilsonville, 38. 36 in our capital city this morning. Max is our pet of the day at KGW.com. Just an absolutely gorgeous photo. I said earlier in the show, that's why you get a dog, right? Big hugs there. A moment of family love I'm looking at. Pet of the day at KGW.com is the email address. We'll feature your pet on our show. That's Max this morning. All right, weather map for today. I think this afternoon it actually gets quite wet. Not much rain total around this morning, but this afternoon showers really pick up on the west side. Still dry in central Oregon and outside of the Blues, mainly dry out east. 7-day forecast. So what we're really focused on is a push of steady rain that arrives after midnight tonight, and then all wet Wednesday, all wet Thursday, all wet into Friday. Could be looking at 2 to 3 inches of rain easily through this time frame. Right now, timing suggests the weekend should be mainly dry. All right, here's Chris.
Hey, Rod, let's take it to Northeast Portland. Just getting word of a crash on Northeast Portland Highway 30, Lombard, if you will, out near 82nd Avenue. Right now, ODOT reporting the westbound lane is blocked there, and so it looks like traffic's actually starting to back up towards I-205. This is the Killingsworth exit ramp to I-205, and it's busy, but for now, that's moving. We'll keep you posted if that changes. Freeway drive out there, obviously getting busier as we get deeper into our morning commute, but so far, nothing way out of whack in terms of the drive times here. 25 minutes right now. You're driving from Troutdale at last check. Hey, heads up overnight tonight and each night this week. The St. John's Bridge will be closed from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. the following morning for biennial bridge inspection and maintenance. That is a closure to all traffic with the exception of the final TriMet bus runs of the evening and emergency vehicles. So as always, your detour during that St. John's Bridge closure will be the Fremont Bridge. Guys, back to you.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that, Chris. Thank you. The spring break grinding to a halt at the airport and at the gas pump. Coming up, a look at the chaos unfolding at TSA checkpoints as the government shutdown drags on. Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues right after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Millions of Americans are struggling to make it to their spring break destinations as TSA lines at airports across the country go on for hours.
And as the partial government shutdown continues, some TSA agents are starting to not show up for work because they're not being paid. NBC's Tom Costello has more.
The start of a record-breaking spring break season, and again, long lines at some big airports. In Atlanta, the world's busiest. In Philly, time-lapse captured the long lines. In New Orleans, a packed terminal with lines extending to the parking garage. And hours-long lines yet again in Houston.
TSA line starts downstairs in baggage.
I've been waiting in line for about 2 hours now. When we were outside, way far away from the door, that was a little frightening. We're still hopeful because we're moving at this point.
NBC's Priscilla Thompson is there.
This is the scene at Hobby Airport in Houston. Security lines stretch across the entire top floor through baggage claim and snaking out onto the curb.
The reason for the long lines, the DHS shutdown over ICE policies. Caught in the middle, TSA officers and passengers.
They're just political footballs, basically, that are used as leverage points for political battles that they have nothing to do with.
After receiving half a paycheck 2 weeks ago, TSA officers will miss a full check this week, with most working paycheck to paycheck, and now some taking part-time work.
They have their fuel tanks and they need to fill up their stomachs. They have little kids that need to go to daycare.
And if you're planning on skipping the flight and hitting the roads, well, you may find yourself paying a pretty penny for gas. The war between the U.S. and Iran is causing a surge in gas prices. Right now, Oregon's average price for a gallon of regular is up to $4.26, and Washington has the second highest price in the country at $4.69 a gallon. Now, in addition to everyday drivers, Uber and Lyft drivers are worried that the high fuel costs will eat into their profits during a busy travel time. And they say it seems like fewer people are traveling this year.
I mean, it's hard for us to be out here trying to make an honest living, taking care of customer. I mean, gas has gone up, cost of living's gone up, you know, grocery, food, utility, rent, everything, you know.
AAA says every $1 increase in the price of crude oil amounts to an increase of about 2 cents for regular fuel at the pump, and those spikes are also leading to higher prices for airline travelers.
Meantime, Uber is rolling out its women-only ride preference system nationwide. The feature allows women drivers and riders to be matched with other women for their trips. It's an expansion of a pilot program designed to address safety concerns. If the wait time is too long, riders can choose a different ride or reserve a trip with a female driver in advance. This comes amid a class action lawsuit playing out in California that alleges the policy discriminates against men.
And Starbucks just revamped its rewards program. Starting today, customers will see a new tier system with 3 different levels: green, gold, and reserve. The coffee chain says each tier has special perks, including free birthday treats and a free personalized reserve card. Starbucks says it believes the revamp will give customers better value. Customers will be notified of their tier status through email and the Starbucks app.
What was the tier status? Hold on, I'm going up in your spec.
It was green,
gold,
and reserve.
I'm gold.
Wow. I will say this. So my wife's birthday
That's
was
the
March
highest, right?
1. You know, she's a holder, so you get a free drink. But she forgot to mention it at the counter when she bought it, so they took it off her points. And then she said, oh my goodness, I forgot that. And they go, well, you can't reverse it now.
Yeah.
And for a start, it has to be that day. Can't you make it a birthday week, for crying out loud? So it doesn't have to be just that day.
I learned that as well last year. I'm like, I'm too busy to go to Starbucks today.
Feels like you just need to find the right barista just to be like, all right, we'll get
Chipotle doesn't do that.
They give you a week?
I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah, they give you rewards all the time. I often just check it just to see if I have a
You know, I don't have like rewards for like
anything?
Anything.
Really?
For anything. Like, as much as I go to Chipotle, I definitely should have rewards. I would.
Some people don't deserve rewards.
Losers.
All right, let's get to our.
I just hate having all those apps on my phone.
No, I don't have many of them, Matthew, myself, because I'm kind of the same way. All right, I want to bounce through everything really quickly. So today's the final day for snow over the Coast Range, which we do have snow on the Coast Range highways right now. By tomorrow morning, snow level is 3,000 feet. That's all rain over the Coast Range. We start to get into a wet mix of snow late tomorrow up at Government Camp, and then it's all rain, or at least a wet mix over the Cascade Passes Thursday and Friday. But it should be all snow at Timberline Lodge. And if it is, then right there you go. About 3 feet of snow expected to fall from today through Friday night up at Timberline Lodge. And hopefully it holds as more snow than not, even at Mount Hood Meadows base. We still show bigger bullseyes in north to Washington and lesser total precip amounts as you drop down to the south. All right, where's the, come on. There's a This has to find a receiver somewhere. Here's a look at our Futurecast movie. Scattered showers today, expected to increase in numbers this afternoon. So this is 2 o'clock. That's a pretty good wave of moisture coming through. So after a pretty quiet morning, we get increasingly wet this afternoon. Now here's 9 o'clock tonight, some rain in the area, but the main push of steady rain that we're tracking comes in after midnight. Here's solid rain tomorrow morning, heavy snow up in the Cascades, all rain over the Coast Range. And then the yellow-orange colors that you just saw, that was Wednesday overnight into Thursday morning. For the 24-hour period of Wednesday overnight through Thursday afternoon, that's less than 24 hours, models give Portland like 2 inches of rain. And then the steady rain continues more than not into Friday. So absolutely, this is still on track to be one of our big 3 wettest weeks of this entire winter season. This shows we could near 4 inches in Portland and Kelso, lesser amounts to the south. Second day in a row, it's giving us about 7 inches of rain total in Tillamook. I think at least 2 to 3 in Portland. And if all this is correct, we could be under some sort of a flood advisory from our friends at the Weather Service starting Thursday into Friday. Here's our Salem live camera right now with rain in the area, 36 degrees, other temperatures. It's been freezing up around the north coast and also Kelso this morning at times. Right now 33, 34 because of some clearing, but really in Portland and much of the valley not seeing any issues with freezing temperatures this morning, so that's good news. Scattered showers increasing this afternoon. Snow level today rises up to 1,500 feet. And notice the overnight lows tonight don't fall off much. That rain that's coming in after midnight is courtesy of a push of warmer air, and that's why those snow levels go up. So pretty much a washout of a Wednesday. Could have all kinds of heavy rain issues developing during the day Thursday into Friday. And then right now the weekend could be dry, but I've got an early shower chance on Saturday, and I can't guarantee dry weather on Sunday. But it could be all dry. Here's Chris.
Okay, Rod, let's pick it up in Northeast Portland. Northeast Portland Highway 30, or Lombard, if you will, out near 82nd Avenue. ODOT's dealing with a crash here that has one of the westbound lanes blocked. I bring that up because you can see that orange line here. That's indicating that westbound commute from I-205 west towards 82nd Avenue is backed up a bit. And this, by the way, is the exit ramp from I-205 north onto Lombard. So that appears to be running a little thick. A little slow at the Sylvan Hill, Highway 26. I-5 south of town near Capitol Highway, again getting busier. That drive-in from Wilsonville has jumped up to 27 minutes at last check. So again, things are getting busier, but so far nothing way out of whack on the freeways locally. I did want to point this out. Big section of Interstate 84 in eastern Oregon is closed this morning. ODOT is saying because of limited visibility. They've had snow and blowing snow out there. This is a snapshot from just east of the Pendleton area up in the Blue Mountains, and you can see snow covers there. So be aware if you're traveling regionally this morning. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Chris. A woman is now in custody accused of firing rounds into Rihanna's home while the singer and her family were inside. What we're learning about the shooter coming up when Sunrise streaming live at 7 continues in 2 minutes.
I'm David Molko, the evening anchor at KGW. Though when I'm not working, I like to spend as much time as possible out here in nature. So I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. You see, what happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves you to act, to vote, to volunteer, to talk about it, to speak up, or to lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the kind of human storytelling that stays with you wherever you are. And at KGW, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Portland.
This morning, Washington lawmakers have been lobbying for more than 12 hours without a break as they work to pass a so-called millionaire's tax. Amendments to the bill have been voted down or through all the morning.
Yeah, and Republicans are trying to get amendments added to it by lining up dozens of them for debate. That can drag things out. As it stands now, households making more than $1 million a year would pay the income tax on earnings above that. This version also had more tax breaks for small businesses and low-income families. We heard from lawmakers on both sides before the debate hit the floor last night.
We have a very regressive tax code that is not doing anything for Washington families. We have to make it more progressive, more fair in terms of who pays and the capacity to pay so that we can pay for basic services like education, healthcare, higher ed, public safety.
We have a generational seismic shift in our tax policy about to be debated on the House floor tonight, and we're going to treat it as such, and we're going to put up the most epic fight that we've ever put up, as if this was the biggest fight of all of our careers.
Once it passes out of the House, it will then go to the Senate to sign off on any changes. Governor Bob Ferguson says he will sign it.
New details this morning in the incident at the home of Rihanna, where a woman fired several shots into the gate with an AR-15 style weapon.
That woman is now in custody. NBC's Dana Griffin has the latest.
New details in the shocking shooting targeting the home of one of the biggest names in music, Rihanna.
10 gunshots fired from the vehicle at the gate. I believe the shots came from across the street.
35-year-old Ivana Lisette Ortiz was booked on suspicion of attempted murder. Her bail set at $10 million. The woman tagging Rihanna in this cryptic social media post 2 weeks ago. "Are you there? Because I was waiting for you to say something to me directly instead of sneaking around." Ortiz firing multiple rounds with an AR-15 style rifle from her car outside the mansion of the billionaire business mogul and her partner, rapper A$AP Rocky, on Sunday, as the couple and their young kids were inside, according to NBC Los Angeles. Incredibly, no one was hurt, but neighbors were left rattled.
Nobody should have to deal with being, in fear in your own home. That's terrible.
The motive for Sunday's shooting in Los Angeles, unclear.
Coming up at 8, KGW Sunrise continues live on KGW Plus with Oregon's fight to get you the best seats for the best prices.
Why state attorneys are saying the federal settlement with Live Nation is a win for the ticketing company, not you.
I'm Matthew Herchick, new morning anchor at KGW. I'm a huge sports fan, and I know I might be from the Buckeye State, but I'm excited to explore what the Rose City has to